Hello and welcome everyone. Today is the 23rd of February 2018. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Machauskas, where we're going to have a look at the markets, see what to expect maybe from them on this last trading day of this week. Before we continue, please have a read through our risk disclaimer. So JFD Brokers offers exclusively consultancy-free services. The content of this webinar does not constitute an investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll just let you have a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so right, before actually jumping into the charts, I just wanted to quickly show you our JFD Brokers website. And so this is our JFD research page where you can have a read through different analyses that we throw out here. And they're more in depth and they're in different languages. So I think you might find something useful for yourself. So yeah, please feel free to come in here and just have a read through. Yeah. Okay, so back to the charts now. So the first one that I wanted to show you guys is the euro dollar. This is a 4-hour chart. We are having some news coming out from Germany right now. The German GDP numbers year on year came out and the same as expected, the 2.3%. We can see that the euro is trading here in this little range here between 122.850 and this trend line that we had running from quite a while now, and that's from December last year. Now yesterday we were looking at it as well, and we said if we're gonna have a move back up towards this trend line here and a test of it, maybe it might push higher. The only thing is that it didn't quite close strongly above it, let's say like that. And if it would have had a good close above this trend line, then we could potentially see some more upside today. But at the moment we can see that it's selling off from this trend line, and now it's finding its support at 122.850 around this area, which is actually also at around where the 200 EMA is passing through. So now the question is, of course, will we have a break of it? Will we move slightly lower to test this area here? If we do, we could later on today see some more downside and maybe a move towards the 122.300 area. This would be a key area to watch out for because this is around the previous lows in the last couple of weeks. So yeah. Like I said, at the moment, keep an eye on this 200 EMA here, this 122.850 area. If we start seeing a break below, then we should be careful and look at these lows that we had in the beginning of this week, which were around 122.600 area. So if we again get a break below that, well, like I said, it's opening the path towards the 122.300. Okay. And on the upside, of course, if we suddenly start getting sharp moves back to this 123.400 area, if that doesn't hold, this resistance level is not going to hold, then it could open up the path towards the 124, the round number of 124. So yeah, there are some good levels to watch here today on the euro dollar. Yeah, be careful with this one again because we can get some side moves, sideways movements, especially with the US data coming out and the Canadian data coming out. So yeah, be careful with this one. Another one that I really quickly wanted to have a look at would be the GBP USD. So we can see that this is hanging slightly below this little steep downwards moving trend line. It started actually last Friday. So it was held a few times here on the 21st, and then it was held here as well again yesterday. Some could actually say maybe that this is this is looking like a little flag formation here. This would be being the pole here, and this is kind of this little flag here. We know that flags tend to continue the pole direction, we can say that way. So I would suggest to keep an eye on this trend line here, and maybe if we get a break above it, that would be around 139,500 here. If we get a break above it, the next move will be towards the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line. And if that doesn't hold, well, this is the important area to watch here that I've got highlighted with a rectangle, because that's, well, guess what? That's the 140 psychological support level, or support and resistance. Actually, it was acting as both. The pound dollar is really loving this area, and it keeps testing it on and on. So the only thing, like I said, if we get a break above it, then we might get a test of this 140 level again. And if that doesn't hold, then we've got this slightly longer trend line that is running from January 25th. So this would be around the 140,800 area here that I've got highlighted with the rectangle. And that's only, of course, if the 140 is not going to be enough for this pair. On the downside, of course, if we start getting moves below this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and that's around the 138,900, or let's round it up to actually 139 area. If we start getting a break below this, and then a move towards the 138,500 area, we could see some more downside, to be honest. And this area here, that I've got highlighted here, would be the 137,650 area, and this would come in line exactly with the upwards trend line that we've got here, running from November last year. So it could be a good level to test, but that's only, of course, if we get some moves to the downside and we get some kind of confirmation that the price wants to go below this 200 EMA. So another one quickly that I want to have a look at is the USD CAD. USD CAD, of course, waiting for the news to come out today from Canada. We are trading slightly above, well, above this steeper trend line that we had running from last Friday. This week it was just going upwards. It was unstoppable. It had tested this line again here, then yesterday tested this line again, so it keeps bouncing off of it. Now any moves probably above the 127,250 area, if we get a strong move above that, then this could open the path towards the 127,500 area. If that doesn't hold, yeah, well, it might just continue going higher towards the 128. But at the moment, before we can assume this, we need some good confirmation. First of all, of course, a break above this in order for the price to go towards the 128 area. The only thing is that because this little steep trend line has been tested a few times, and it's kind of really loving it, to be honest. And any move towards back to this trend line, and maybe a potential break, this could lead to lower levels to be met. The first level to watch out for would be the 126,850 area, and the next one would be this yellow EMA here, which is the 21 EMA, and that's around the 126,650. So these are the first two key support levels to watch out for if we get a break below this little trend line here. Now, again, depending on the information, the data, and of course how traders will see this. I mean, if everybody will start jumping into selling, then this could probably start getting ugly, and the price could push down towards the 126, 150 area. which would be exactly around the 50 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So again, also this pair is quite an interesting one to watch out for today. Like I said, it could go both ways, but it does have good levels of confirmation. If let's say if confirmation to the downside, if it breaks this trend line here, it could go down lower, and of course to the upside if we break the 127,500 area, 550. Okay, so yeah, guys. Okay, so I'll leave you to it. I hope you have a good European session, and I hope this last trading day will make you happy. And yeah, yes, keep an eye on the price action, and have a good weekend. Bye bye.